There are seasons when God whispers, and there are seasons when he sounds the alarm. What he revealed about 2026 felt like an alert in the spirit, not loud with fear, but heavy with urgency. It became clear that this is not a year to drift into casually or assume will unfold like the ones before it. There is a distinct weight on this season, a sense that heaven is signaling a turning point. When God gives advance notice, it is never to create anxiety. It is to grant advantage. He alerts his people so they can posture themselves correctly, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally before the shift fully arrives. What stood out most was the need for heightened spiritual sensitivity. In ordinary seasons, you can survive on routine faith, but at extraordinary seasons require discernment. 2026 is marked by accelerated change. Decisions will carry more consequence, delays will cost more, and obedience will matter at a deeper level. God showed me that many will misinterpret what is happening around them because they are not spiritually awake. They will react in the natural to what should have been handled in the spirit. That's why discernment is not optional, it is essential. You must be able to hear clearly, see accurately, and respond wisely. This is a season where God is drawing a line between awareness and ignorance, between preparation and assumption. Those who are alert will recognize divine signals early, shifts in relationships, nudges to move, warnings to pause, instructions to realign. Those signals are not random, they are invitations to partner with heaven. God does not reveal what he intends to do unless he intends to involve you. When he shows you what's ahead, he is giving you time to pray, to prepare, and to position yourself ahead of disruption. 2026 will reward those who are paying attention. It will favor those who are spiritually awake, not emotionally reactive. This is a year that will require you to guard your spirit, sharpen your hearing, and remain sensitive to divine instruction. Because when God sounds an alert, it is proof that something significant is approaching, and those who discern it early will not be overtaken by it, but elevated through it. Before God releases anything in the earth, he reveals it in the spirit. He never moves without first giving instruction because preparation is the protocol of heaven. What God showed me about 2026 is that manifestation will be preceded by responsibility. Many people want the outcome without the obedience that qualifies them to handle it. But this is a season where God is requiring readiness before release. What you do now, how you pray, how you listen, how you respond, is shaping what you will be trusted with later. Heaven is watching who takes instruction seriously before increase shows up. Prayer in this season is not about repetition, it is about positioning. When you pray ahead of time, you don't just ask God to bless what you're doing, you align yourself with what he is already blessing. Preparation through prayer allows you to see clearly before decisions must be made publicly. God prepares his people privately so they don't collapse publicly. The work done in secret will determine how well you stand in the open. If you skip the season of preparation, you may arrive at the moment of manifestation unprepared to sustain it. God also showed me that delay is often misinterpreted. Many assume that because something hasn't happened yet, it isn't coming. But delay in this season is not denial, it is divine development. God uses time to refine motives, sharpen character, and strengthen discernment. What you pray about now, God is shaping within you now, so that when the door opens, you won't mishandle the assignment. Preparation protects you from premature exposure. This is why prayer must become intentional, not occasional. You are not just praying for things to happen. You are praying to become the person who can steward what is coming. 2026 will expose who prepared and who presumed. Those who prayed before they saw results will recognize the season when it arrives, and they will step into it with clarity, confidence, and stability because they allowed God to prepare them before he promoted them. What God showed me about 2026 is that it will be marked by visible shifts and undeniable shaking. Things that look stable will suddenly be tested. and systems people trusted will reveal their weaknesses. This shaking is not random chaos, it is divine rearrangement. God shakes what can be shaken so that what cannot be shaken will remain. Many will panic when familiar structures begin to move. But those who understand the nature of divine shifting will recognize that God is clearing space for alignment. What looks like disruption in the natural is often correction in the spirit. There will be changes in relationships, assignments, and environments. Some connections will no longer fit the direction God is taking you, and the separation will feel sudden, even uncomfortable. But God showed me that these shifts are necessary. You cannot carry old weight into a new season. Certain doors will close without explanation, and some opportunities will dry up quickly. This is not rejection, it is redirection. If you pray during these moments instead of resisting them, you will gain clarity instead of confusion. Along with shifting comes warfare. Whenever God prepares to advance his people, resistance increases. 2026 will require spiritual awareness because not every battle is meant to be fought publicly. Some conflicts are resolved in prayer before they ever manifest in your life. God showed me that many people will exhaust themselves trying to fix things in the natural that were meant to be handled in the spirit. This is why discernment matters. You must know when to speak, when to move, and when to stand still and intercede. But in the midst of the shaking, there is also supernatural alignment. God is repositioning people into the places where their gifts, timing, and assignments finally match. What felt delayed will suddenly accelerate once alignment occurs. When heaven and earth come into agreement, progress becomes swift. The shaking is not to destroy you, it is to align you. And those who remain prayerful during the transition will find themselves standing in positions they could not have accessed without the shift. God made it clear that 2026 will not respond to passive believers. Authority in the spirit must be exercised, not admired. Many people know how to pray emotionally, but few know how to pray legislatively. Intercession is not begging God to act. It is partnering with him to enforce what he has already declared. What you tolerate in prayer, you authorize in life. And what you confront in prayer, you restrict in the natural. This is the year where God is calling his people to move from prayer as comfort to prayer as command. Discipline will matter more than gifting. Natural talent may open doors, but only spiritual discipline will keep them open. God showed me that inconsistency will be costly in this season. You cannot live casually and expect to function powerfully. Intercessors will need structure, focus, and intentionality. Prayer will require scheduling, guarding, and prioritizing, not because God is distant, but because the season is demanding. What you neglect spiritually will show up as pressure naturally. There is also a generational weight attached to this season. What you pray now will outlive you. Some of the resistance you're facing is not just about you, it's about what you carry for those coming after you. God showed me that certain breakthroughs are waiting on intercession, not effort. When you pray with authority, you don't just shift your situation, you interrupt cycles, you close doors that were open for generations and open pathways that others will walk through long after you're gone. This is why prayer must move beyond convenience. Casual prayers will not confront serious opposition. God is raising believers who understand their jurisdiction in the spirit, who know when to war, when to wait, and when to decree. When discipline meets authority, prayer becomes effective, not exhausting. And those who step into this level of intercession will find that heaven responds quickly because alignment creates access and authority enforces outcome. What God is looking for in this season is not just awareness, but response. Revelation carries responsibility. Once God shows you something, neutrality is no longer an option. You either align with what he revealed or you resist it through delay and indecision. 2026 will expose hesitation. It will reveal who heard God and who only acknowledged him. Faith in this season must move beyond agreement into action. Obedience will not be convenient, but it will be necessary because delayed obedience is still disobedience when timing matters. Responding with faith means adjusting your life to match what you're praying for. It means aligning your conversations, your habits, and your decisions with heaven's direction. God showed me that many prayers will go unanswered not because they were wrong, but because the lifestyle didn't support the request. Faith requires movement. If God says prepare, you prepare. If He says release, you let go. If He says reposition, you move. This season will reward those who respond quickly, not emotionally, but strategically. There is also an urgency to act with courage. Fear will try to disguise itself as wisdom, but hesitation will cost opportunities. God showed me that some doors in 2026 will only open once, and if you are not positioned, you will watch them close without ever stepping through. This is why obedience must be decisive. Faith is not reckless, but it is bold. When God gives instruction, clarity follows movement. As you respond, understand that alignment brings protection. When you are where God assigned you to be, you are covered. You may not understand every detail, but obedience secures outcomes that explanation never could. To 26 will not be navigated successfully by intention alone, it will require action. Those who respond with faith will not just survive the season, they will shape it, because obedience positions you to partner with God in what He is doing next. What God emphasized strongly is that preparation must begin now, not when the calendar changes. Waiting until circumstances force you to pray is already too late. This is the season to build spiritual muscle while things are still manageable, because pressure reveals what preparation produced. God showed me that many people will attempt to pray their way out of situations in 2026 that could have been prevented through early alignment. Prayer ahead of time is not reaction, it is prevention, protection, and positioning. There is a call to consistency that cannot be ignored. Sporadic prayer will not sustain you in a demanding season. God is inviting His people into rhythm, not intensity bursts. A disciplined prayer life builds discernment, sharpens hearing, and strengthens spiritual stamina. When prayer becomes a lifestyle instead of a response, you stop being surprised by attacks and start anticipating shifts. You recognize patterns early, you sense transitions sooner, and you move before pressure escalates. This level of preparation creates stability when everything around you feels uncertain. God also revealed that preparation is deeply personal. You cannot rely on someone else's prayer life to carry you through what is coming. Corporate prayer will matter, but personal alignment will be decisive. You must know God's voice for yourself. You must develop the ability to discern when to move, when to wait, and when to stand firm. In 2026, borrowed oil will not be enough. Those who invested privately will be the ones standing publicly with clarity and confidence. This is why now is the time to simplify, to remove distractions, and to strengthen your spiritual foundations. What competes for your attention now will weaken your response later. God is calling for focus, not fear, discipline, not panic. Preparation does not mean obsessing over the future. It means becoming spiritually strong enough to handle it. And those who respond now, who pray intentionally and live aligned, will enter 2026 not anxious, not confused, but ready, fully positioned to move with God instead of scrambling to catch up. God also showed me that discernment will be the currency of survival and success in 2026. Information will be everywhere, voices will be loud, opinions will be convincing, but not everything that sounds right will be God. This is why spiritual hearing must be sharpened now. Discernment is not suspicion, it is perception. It is the ability to see beneath the surface, to sense what is moving in the spirit before it manifests in the natural. Those who lack discernment will make emotional decisions in critical moments, while those who are spiritually alert will move with precision and peace. There will be moments where logic will contradict instruction, and pressure will tempt you to act prematurely. God showed me that many traps in 2026 will not look dangerous, they will look convenient. They will appeal to urgency, comfort, and familiarity. Discernment will be the difference between opportunity and distraction. This is why prayer must deepen now, because shallow prayer produces shallow perception. When you are spiritually tuned, you will recognize when something is good but not God, available but not assigned, popular but not permitted. God is calling his people to trust his voice over noise. In this season, discernment will require courage because sometimes obedience will isolate you. You may have to say no when others say yes, pause when others rush, and walk away when others applaud. But discernment protects you from entanglement. It keeps you from being emotionally manipulated or spiritually misaligned. When you discern correctly, you conserve energy, preserve peace, and protect purpose. Those who cultivate discernment now will not be confused later. They will move calmly while others panic, decide wisely while others react, and stand firm while others waver. God showed me that clarity will be a reward for those who seek him consistently. And when you can discern accurately, you don't just survive seasons of change, you navigate them with authority, confidence, and divine timing. God also impressed upon me that alignment is more than agreement, it is obedience. In 2026, revelation without action will be wasted energy. Many people will know what to do, understand the direction, even hear God clearly, but they will hesitate to move. God showed me that hesitation will cost opportunities, blessings, and favor. Heaven does not reward insight alone, it rewards response. When you align your actions with what God has revealed, your prayers gain authority, your steps gain momentum, and doors that were previously closed begin to open with ease. This alignment is holistic. It involves your heart, your mind, your habits, and your speech. God showed me that in 2026, partial alignment will not suffice. You cannot be aligned in knowledge but misaligned in lifestyle. You cannot be aligned in intention but misaligned in obedience. True alignment requires consistency. It is about daily choices, small acts of faithfulness, and the discipline to do what God has instructed even when it is inconvenient or unseen. Alignment is the spiritual posture that allows you to access what God has already released in the heavens. God also showed me that alignment protects. When you walk in obedience, you avoid pitfalls that others stumble into. Resistance still comes, but it does not overwhelm. Challenges test those who are aligned differently. They stretch faith, sharpen character, and strengthen resolve. Those who refuse to align, however, will find themselves frustrated, delayed, and disoriented. The difference between blessing and setback will often be as simple as choosing to obey promptly and completely. The principle is clear. Prayer positions you, revelation guides you, but alignment activates the favor. God impressed upon me that 2026 is a year of divine repositioning, and only those who move in accordance with his guidance will benefit fully. Alignment is not passive, it is active, intentional, and sometimes costly. But it is the pathway to peace, protection, and unprecedented opportunity. Those who commit to aligning now will enter the season empowered, confident, and ready to walk in the destiny God has prepared for them. God showed me that faith without action is incomplete. In 2026, revelation and prayer alone will not carry you into the fullness of what God has prepared. You must move when he instructs, speak when he directs, and step into the assignments he opens. Many will wait for confirmation or delay obedience because the timing feels uncertain. But God impressed upon me that hesitation will cost more than clarity ever could. Faith requires courage, decisiveness, and a willingness to step before the outcome is visible. The unseen must be trusted, and the instructed must be obeyed. He also revealed that obedience positions you for supernatural alignment. Doors will open, resources will be released, and connections will be arranged for those who respond faithfully. When you act in accordance with God's guidance, you are no longer merely hoping for blessings, you are walking into them. Actions taken in faith create momentum in the spirit and authority in the natural. This is the difference between seeing opportunity pass by and stepping into divine provision fully equipped and prepared. Furthermore, God showed me that responding in faith protects your destiny. Resistance and opposition will rise in 2026, but those who act obediently are shielded by alignment with heaven. When you move as instructed, even obstacles become tools for refinement and preparation. You do not have to understand every detail. You simply need to trust the voice that spoke the instructions. Each step of obedience builds capacity, character, and influence. Faith in this season is not passive hope, it is active trust. It requires that you be willing to engage, to position yourself, and to follow through consistently. Those who respond promptly and intentionally will find that 2026 becomes a year of breakthroughs, acceleration, and divine favor. But those who hesitate or ignore God's instructions will watch opportunities slip past, realizing too late that action was the missing element between revelation and fulfillment. God revealed to me that 2026 will be a year where alignment and action are inseparable. It is not enough to know what is coming. You must move in agreement with it. Many people will have insight but fail to act. And God showed me that this will result in missed opportunities and delayed blessings. Revelation positions you, but obedience activates it. What you pray, how you prepare, and the choices you make in advance are what will determine whether you walk in peace and favor or frustration and confusion. The season will reward those who combine spiritual awareness with decisive action. He also emphasized that timing is critical. There will be windows of opportunity that are brief but powerful. If you hesitate, if you overthink, or if you delay obedience, those windows will close and you will face the consequences of indecision. God is calling for boldness, the courage to act even when the full picture is not visible. When you trust Him fully and respond faithfully, every step aligns with His purposes and blessings flow with precision. This is how faith moves from theory to reality when action meets revelation. God showed me that intentional alignment protects and amplifies your spiritual authority. When your life reflects obedience to His instructions, resistance loses its power. Challenges will still arise, but you will navigate them with discernment and clarity. Preparation, prayer, and prompt response combine to create momentum, turning potential obstacles into platforms for growth. Those who live aligned now will enter 2026 not in confusion or anxiety, but in confidence, poised to step into the favor and assignments God has already ordained. Finally, He revealed that this is a season of positioning for long-term impact. What you do in response to His guidance now will affect not only this year, but also the trajectory of the next several seasons. Alignment and obedience are investments. They build spiritual capital that produces influence, protection, and accelerated favor over time. Those who respond intentionally will find that 2026 becomes a year where doors open, cycles break, and destiny is advanced simply because they chose to act faithfully when God spoke. God impressed upon me that intercession in 2026 will be more than a personal act. It will be generational in impact. The prayers you carry now, the battles you fight in the spirit, and the alignment you pursue will not only affect your life, but will shape the lives of those who come after you. God showed me that this is a season where faithful intercessors become spiritual architects, designing pathways of blessing, protection, and provision for future generations. Your prayer life is not isolated. It has ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. He also revealed that consistency in prayer is crucial. Sporadic or casual prayer will not suffice in a season of accelerated change. God is calling for focused, intentional, and disciplined intercession. Every moment spent in fervent prayer, every declaration spoken in faith builds a spiritual hedge around your life, your family, and your destiny. Those who invest consistently now will experience favor and alignment that others only wish they had recognized. God showed me that the timing of intercession is strategic. Praying ahead of the shift positions you in advance of the outcome. Delayed prayer often results in delayed favor. What you pray now lays the foundation for breakthroughs later. He is calling his people to anticipate seasons, to sense transitions, and to intercede before situations manifest in the natural. This proactive approach will distinguish those who prosper from those who struggle. Finally, God revealed that intercession is not passive. It requires authority, boldness, and persistence. You must pray with confidence, knowing that what you decree in the spirit impacts the natural. Faithful intercessors will not be overwhelmed by challenges because they have aligned their lives with heaven's agenda. Those who pray with understanding, consistency, and obedience will find that 2026 is a year of supernatural acceleration, favor, and divine protection simply because they chose to partner with God in shaping what is to come. God also revealed that 2026 will demand clarity of vision and purpose like never before. Many people will enter the year carrying confusion, distraction, or indecision, but God showed me that those who have clearly defined their assignment and purpose will navigate the season with confidence and precision. Vision without alignment is empty, but vision paired with obedience becomes unstoppable. The clarity you cultivate now determines how you respond when challenges, shifts, and opportunities arise. He showed me that spiritual clarity requires discipline. You cannot rely on feelings, trends, or the opinions of others to guide you. God is calling his people to listen intently, to discern his voice, and to act with intentionality. This means cultivating a daily practice of prayer, meditation, and reflection, creating space to hear instructions that are often subtle but critically important. The choices you make in alignment with that clarity will determine the pace, favor, and direction of your journey throughout the year. God also emphasized that clarity produces confidence. When you know what God has called you to, you move without hesitation, speak without fear, and make decisions without regret. Confusion breeds delay and doubt, but clear vision aligns your mind, your heart, and your actions with heaven's agenda. Those who prepare in this way will be able to discern opportunities from distractions, blessings from distractions, and divine assignments from mere coincidences. Finally, he showed me that vision and purpose are not static. They require continual attention. As the season unfolds, new instructions, refinements, and adjustments will come, and those who remain prayerful, attentive, and responsive will thrive. God's guidance will keep you ahead of shifts and in alignment with his plan. By cultivating clarity now, you position yourself to enter 2026 fully prepared, spiritually fortified, strategically aligned, and ready to walk in the favor, protection, and destiny he has ordained.